I'm Rod Duff, your host.
And I'm producer Barbie.
And together,
we bring you our podcast,
Insights in Straight Talk. And with that, producer Barbie and I are out. Yeah, so that's those of you who watch the show regularly know I'm battling with the intro videos. Actually, I'm not battling with them. I'm playing with them. And I was just telling Raj a second ago, we're adding to the outro. One of my guys said, hey, since you're mentioning there's a link in the description, should start adding those to each show. And I didn't do it this morning. So Raj, I was complaining to him about the stress and the issues of each and every day. And Raj is fortunately here today because he's going to teach us how to not only live to be 100, but live. And one thing I should have asked you this. The thing about growing to 100 years old, can I start that now? I'm closer to 100 than I am 0. So that's a curiosity. I assume when I get out of here, I'm going to walk out going, okay, I got a century coming, and I could do this show for another at least 40 years, right? All right. So I have taught. Oh, I see you. Wait. Doing your head. That's perfect. So Raj has a scientific approach. Well, it's kind of a art science. Is some yoga in behind, as you can imagine, because it's about inner healing. It's about us having the power and control from within. Him going one more step to the breath, having the control of the breath to maneuver and be able to fall asleep in 60 to 90 seconds, which, oh my God, my watch, it follows stuff on me, and it keeps yelling at me because I'm going to sleep all over the place. I mean, sometimes early, sometimes late, sometimes I'm really, really tired, like last night, and I couldn't get to bed till 11. I get up at 4. So, we see, we got people coming in already, Raj. I guess I have to get to work here. So, with that, I had the distinct honor of Mr. Raj here. I am very excited about this. Have been. Let me play around with the things a little bit there. Looks like we got an early jump to the show here. Yeah, probably because I was made Raj 10 minutes late, but luckily I got into it before producer Barbie called me. She's literally called me like 3 times, getting after me about doing what I do. But I like to kind of figure out, oh, I got some shadows going on here. Anyway, so Raj, you have a long story. You've been doing this a long time, and you're doing good towards the people that have some different issue. I talked about living to 100 years old in having I talk about quality is better than quantity. I don't want to outlive the quality of my life. So when we started your associate, great. She is awesome. I'm sorry, I'm going blank, but
Marlene, yeah.
What is it?
Her name's Marlene. Yeah.
Marlene. Yeah, she's awesome. So when we started this, I started getting real excited because of the approach that you use. There's so many different ways to heal the body, heal thy body, or thy body heal itself. So let's start at the beginning. I like to go deep. I'm not, we're not talking heads here. Okay, sure. I got to get rid of that light. Shit.
Absolutely.
I was having shadows go all over the place there. I'm a one-man band, so that's why the show gets a little goofy sometimes. But producer Barbie gets me dialed in shape. So at the beginning here, you were born and you immediately started this breathing technique, right? Is that how
I'll take you back to a little bit of the Genesis backstory, and I'll sort of
let's set it up because this isn't commonplace. Should be, it will be, but this had to develop a desire within you? How'd that happen?
Okay, I'll tell you. And there's a lot of fun kind of analogies that go into all of this whole story. When I was 3 years old, I'll take you back to the beginning. When I was 3, my mother took me for the first time to nursery school in London, where I was born. And we went to the library before we left. And it was a beautiful sunny day. And I just picked off 2 books off the bookshelf. And
you were
one,
3 years old?
I was 3 years old. No, in the library of a nursery school for the first time in my life.
Wow.
In London. Okay. The first 2 books I pick off the shelf, Rod, were one book about dinosaurs and one book about planets. Right. So when I pick these books off, for whatever reason, I don't know what you call it, but it is still imprinted on my brain as if it was yesterday. I can still see these images clearly in my mind. And for whatever reason, as I grew, as I developed, as I evolved, these images have stayed with me the whole time. Right? They have guided me more than my entire conventional schooling has.
Wow.
So,
That's powerful.
I know, but even as kids, we all have these great dreams. Like, I want to be an astronaut. I want to save the planet. I want to do something like be a superhero. We love Marvel films. We love DC films. Why? Because they're larger than life characters that do something amazing. And we all have that within us. But unfortunately, because of society, because of society, because of restrictions, because of limited thinking, people start to lose the connection with their dreams that they had as a kid, right? And then unfortunately you get into your 30s, 40s, you get married, maybe you get a mortgage, maybe you do something else, and you kind of lose touch with that initial magic you had as a child, and then you regret it later if you don't pull back any of that dream. You regret it later. You get older and older, you die, and then you're like, oh man, I should have believed in myself. I should have focused on that stuff.
You hear that story all the time. The old, let's say man, we're men or woman, but the old man, as he's on his deathbed, he never wishes he could have worked more, or or whoever, that's always of sorts a regret, unless we kind of self-evaluate ourselves. We talk about that a lot. Everything that could possibly be good, I'll just say this, good for you, is something that is from within the biology or science. It's natural. That stuff always seems to be good for you, versus other things that aren't. So question for you here. How can someone transition from an unhealthy life? I got a little extra going on here. But unhealthy, there's a reason we talk about a lot of mental health, because we've all, I think a large sector of society does need everything you talk about on the description that we've been chatting about. So, I mean, how do you transition from an unhealthy lifestyle to a healthy one? What's that? And I know I know the system.
Yeah, I mean, the good thing is that's a great question. And what I always look at, I look at a person and I realize, okay, what's their understanding of anatomy? What's their understanding of knowledge? What's their understanding of diet? What's their understanding of the essential need to exercise daily? Once I can get those few components dialed in, we can get to work and we can really have an impact. And I do a lot of accountability coaching to help people with their food, with their exercise daily, which often includes stretching and yoga for at least 10-15 minutes a day. Have to do it. You have to, because otherwise you're going to suffer from arthritis, imbalances in posture. You're going to have a lower back problem. All kinds of issues come up when you don't stretch daily. So
can I just interject right there? That one thing you just said, first of all, everything's you're saying, but on the stretching part, and not a lot of people know about or do this. I mean, producer Barbie, she's as tight as a a rubber band kind of thing as far as the stretch. I grew up as a wrestler, different sports, but as you know, we stretched all the time because our bodies had to be twisted like a pretzel. And so we needed, a lot of, I went through college in wrestling. And then I continue to do, I used to be able to touch my nose to my knee or between my knee to the ground because the lower back. And as I've gone up in age and older and other things like you were talking about, I started again now because it got so horrible, is the tightness and the injury that is more often. The more gray hairs you got, the more you can get injured, right? Look at you, young guy. You don't have any gray hair. You suck.
You see, I want to mention something here. You know, Rob Van Dam. You mentioned wrestling. I've been a huge wrestling fan all my life. Rob Van Dam. Wow. He kindly wrote the foreword to a book we wrote called "How Squats Can Change Your Life." How squats can change your life. This exercise. He wrote the foreword, Rob Van Dam, and he told me the secret. When I spoke to him on the phone, he said to me, "Raj, the secret why I'm able to keep going and all these wrestlers are dying or they're just paralyzed or in the hospital or they're housebound is because I stretch every day for 1 hour every single day." Because if you look at
I was addicted to it. It's the best freaking feeling in the world, man. When you feel that going out and then you come back in and you go, that's awesome. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. And he would do, if you watch Rob Van Dam, he's in the WWE Hall of Fame. He would do some incredible, crazy moves, like jump from one side of the ring and drop kick someone else on the other side of the ring. I mean, who does that? But because of the length of his hamstrings, because he was always able to touch his nose to his knees and go beyond and hold that posture, 5, 10, 15 minutes a day, he was able to have super long legs, super long, flexible legs, and never get injured.
Yeah. You do stretch the body out a little bit as you do that. Well, even more importantly, at this point, you don't allow the body to start shrinking back together, start shrinking in on itself and all that, besides the healthier life. So we're building on a foundation here. We need to tie what we eat, which I'm terrible at that, with our exercise, which I'm getting better. I had a motorcycle accident 3 years ago, broke all the bones. Basically, I had a couple I don't have, but some of my ribs are like the metal plates. There's like 3, 4, 5 breaks that they had to put together on each rib. Wow. And lost my teeth and split my head open. And anyway, that's part of the reason I started this show. But it got me back on to thank goodness for that. And no, thank you, goodness for that. But I at that point I was up to like 300 pounds. I'm down now to 237. When Barbie and I first met 20 years ago, I had 9% body fat. So, that's the problem. If you're an athlete like him in growing up, it's critical to stay going. The older you get, the more you have to do. You have to build muscle because you see it just freaking goes away, and then your skin gets all wrinkly. And
because I'm a coach, whenever people ask questions, I always feel like I want to answer them to the best of my ability. So the first chap who asked a question about,
it's on the screen.
On the screen. Let me give my best answer here.
What's the best transition getting out of
from an unhealthy lifestyle to a sustainable, healthy one is the best thing. Try to go towards a more sort of plant-based diet if you can, because the more you can eliminate red meat, and hopefully if you can also, fish is better, but if you can eliminate all meat, then you can actually do away with a lot of digestive problems, colon cancer issues, all kinds of issues can disappear.
I knew you were going to say that. I've been
vegetarian for 25 years, and I know from personal experience as well, and all the people I've been around me, endless. I've not been to a doctor for 20 years. I've not had medicine for 20 years. Not taken a pill for 20 years.
Wow.
Not been
Wow.
to a hospital, had an X-ray, an ultrasound, or an MRI for 20 years. And I'm teaching people how to do it naturally, without drugs, without prescriptions, without specialist doctors. You don't need it. You don't.
Yeah. Right.
You know.
As a matter of fact, isn't that whole thing kind of it's not as bad in the UK, it's worse here because of the costs of, but isn't the big pharma feeding, no, it's the other way around. We eat the food, so it makes us unhealthy. So we depend on the big pharma. It's a whole corporate shifting of money, I mean, that sounds like a conspiracy theory, but you and I both know it's not. I mean, look at what we're doing, checking out the foods of today. All these banned dyes that are in our food and so forth. So I don't want to take it over. Go ahead. So what's a couple things?
So the thing is, what Adam's saying, a perfect answer for this would be try to go towards more plant-based as much as you can, even proportionally. If you make it 70%, 30% instead of 50% meat and 50% veg, try to make it 70% veg. There's less side effects. There's more digestive health. When you have digestive health, your energy comes back. Your sleep is better. You just feel happier because your system isn't sluggish and slowed down with meat in your digestive system. This is a big problem in the world today. So also exercise. If you would walk vigorously for at least 30 minutes at a minimum every single day, Sundays as well. Don't think of it as a chore. Think of medicine for your body. When you get outside, you take in life energy. We'll get into this a bit more. When you walk around for a good 30 minutes, treadmill at home, elliptical trainer, rowing machine, whatever you want, do.
What about a stationary bike? Peloton.
Perfect. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's not as good as rowing because rowing uses 86% of your muscle. But
I used to be on a crew team.
Yeah,
I used to be on a crew team in college and later on in college. Go ahead. So I hear you. That windmill thing.
Ergometer, they call it. Yeah. So rowing is fantastic. Tai Chi is fantastic. 30 minutes exercise, vegetarian diet. Try to meditate. Try to spend some time in self-care and reflection and reading and journaling and things like that. That helps to dial in the mind and the body together. So those are important.
Hey, can I ask you something real quick before you go into your next step here? And I've heard this multiple times throughout. We're in like 110 of these now, different episodes. So and I love it because I get to learn more and more every time. But I've heard several times when it comes to this journaling. And journaling seems to be a theme that is magnificently good. Why do always people, amongst other things, suggest journaling?
All right. Do you want me to give you the deep dive real reason? Is it gonna make everyone feel worried and upset? Because the truth is, there's a lot about the mind and who you are as a human being, the mind, the spirit, the soul. There's so many things about you that you have not been taught in school. And if I give you the real skinny of why this is, it might open up a can of worms. I don't know, but I'm willing to do it.
Open them up, man. I've got a can here and it's overflowing. Open that sucker up. You got me. I'm hooked.
All right. So when they call us a human being, we're not a human doing. We're a human being. First and foremost, a being. So our nature is to be reflective and to relax and to look and observe and find and understand why things are happening. That's the main reason why we're here on this planet, to understand ourselves and understand other people. Without that understanding, you have no wisdom. Without wisdom, you have no navigation. You don't understand what is happening, why it's happening. So when you journal, it's a way of turning the mind in on itself to check to see how things are going with you physically.
Go through those files go through those subconscious files, right?
Correct. And what I do, I teach people 5 life areas, which never changes for any human being on the planet. The first thing is health, or physical side. Next is finances. Next is relationships. Next is mind. Next one is spirit. Right? No matter who you are, wherever you come from, whatever your belief is, it doesn't matter. These 5 areas, like we have 5 fingers, will always be there. So you can fix any problem you have if you focus on one or more of these 5 life areas and get that done for
on
you.
the spirit. When you say those 5 things, they'll always be there, whether they're negative or positive, is what you're saying, right? And that's the work that has to be focused on, those 5 things.
Correct.
Okay.
Every problem that every human being ever has, whether it doesn't matter whether you're from, Hollywood, whether you're from Bollywood, whether you're from, Europe.
Oh, I like Bollywood.
Yeah,
I love those
them.
shows. They're awesome, man. They're addicting. Anyway, go ahead.
It doesn't matter where you're from. These 5 life areas apply to everyone on the planet. So the more we have this discussion, the more I invest into people, helping them with their 5 life areas, the more I'm doing the calling of God to help everyone realize that they're all evolving towards a bigger, better version of themselves. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, because I've been through the school system here and they never tell you this stuff ever. They never tell you.
The school system sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's not built for the betterment of humanity. I mean, there's private school of humanity, of, definitely the human race. Yeah, absolutely. Humanity, the human race. I call it the human race. Oh, that means I'm moving, huh?
Yeah. But if it's not, you think about, why would you spend, the first 5, 10, 15, 20, even 25 years of your life in school, and they're not telling you the basic fundamentals of life? And then when you get out into the world, the real world, it's nothing like what they taught you in school. So you're not prepared. You get battered by all kinds of situations, maybe a divorce, a health problem, you get cancer, whatever. But that's not the plan. That was never the plan.
Wow.
Right? So people are suffering terribly for nothing.
Sorry, my dog. I have a couple dogs that I bring to the studio. They're in the opening there past the doors, but every once in a while they get rowdy and want to be heard on the show. I hope they're not going to. One's 120 pounds and the little one's 68. So they're a lot of fun. But hey, can I just roll over a little bit into what's the most underrated habit for staying youthful? And I think there's so many things to talk about here. I mean, from your vibe to everything else. I mean, this is like opening up the can of worms. Did we go through everything on that? Because
I would be happy to answer it. Yeah, S. Bradley says, loving the passion, Raj, what's the most underrated habit for staying youthful? The most underrated habit for staying youthful is breathing deliberately, consciously. And I'll show you how to do that later if we have a chance.
Okay.
And also a positive mindset. Positive mindset is absolutely critical, right? You don't realize that when you harbor negative thoughts over a period of time, it will depress you. You will feel terrible. You will see the glass as half empty instead of half full. You will look at the world like it's an unfriendly place, when actually it's a very friendly place. It all depends on how you
see. Actually, a very neutral place, right? Isn't the world basically? There was a story that the world is, the forest is neutral, written by, I think, a Japanese war general. And it's fascinating because it talks about the world being, but we always talk about it, something's against us. There's something we can't do or are afraid to do because, the forest had snakes, but it doesn't care. It's neutral. What you do with it, right?
It's all about your mindset, how you go into it. If you wake up in the morning and say, I feel great, everything tends to go great. But if you wake up and say, I feel lousy, things tend to go lousy, right? It's all depending on you. We don't see the world as it is, Rod. We see the world as we are.
Yeah. Yeah. As we look at the world, we're maybe analyzing, our
projection.
Our projection. That's and it goes right back to the biology, cells. It's all working together, right? What's the simplest? Oops, sorry. Yeah. Finish your thought. I'll go back to that. I told you. I warned you. I'm so excited about this. I'm trying as hard as I can. One of the people we had to talk today was, I get excited on these subjects and I do not want to take it over because you guys are the expert. I'm just trying to get as much down in the information as I can, because I like to say I'm the safety net. If I get it, I mean, I'm just an average dude that listens to a lot of these.
Oh.
And it's great. It helps. But if I get it, everybody out there can get it.
Perfect. I love the fact that earlier you said you talked about some big concepts that are very dear to me as well. You talked about sales. You talked about, wrestling. These things have been massive in my life as well. So I completely resonate with.
We're together. That's the vibe. That's the vibe going.
That's it. So I'll give you this thought, and then let's get to Anita to answer her question as well. But the point is this: we are not flesh and bone. That is just 10% of us. We're actually electromagnetic energy, right? And the thing about that is you can't hide it. You are what you continually think about. And we all have an aura. We all have an electromagnetic field around us, whether you believe it or you don't, whether you follow Joe Dispenza and metaphysics or you don't follow it. It doesn't matter. It's not based on my opinion. That's what the science of metaphysics is, impersonal. You can follow the rules and get the benefit, or you could be ignorant and just cause yourself more harm and suffering.
Yeah.
It's up to you, but you need to find out for yourself, or get a teacher, or get a mentor, or get someone to guide you, so you can tell you how to use your thoughts, how to use your mind. Because we have this electromagnetic field around us, which is either positive or negative or a mixture of both. So why would you want to be your own worst enemy? Yeah.
That we're exuding out of our body because of the energy, the cells. They say a brain could keep a small town running for a week or something like that. The
3
power.
days. 3 days with electricity. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There you, okay. Yeah. Thank you. But go on.
Yeah. So this electromagnetic energy is when people say I vibe or I don't vibe with this person, it's because they're carrying this vibrational energy from their thinking, what they habitually think about. Yeah. So in the yoga philosophy, it says never cause anyone, any creature, any harm, period. Because if you do, you're harboring a thought against something in a harmful way that only comes back on yourself.
Karma, action, reaction. Yes, exactly. And the funny thing is that if you do anything negative, you're not just hurting the other person, you're hurting yourself 10 times more. So that's why you have to wipe out that thought of ever causing harm to anything ever again. Just get that out of your consciousness and be a happy person. When you die, you're never going to regret that. Oh, I'm happy that I hurt lots of people. No, I'm happy that I didn't hurt anyone. Yeah. Right? Yep. Now let me ask you. So how do you, let's go to Jessica or Anita in just 1 second, real quick. You talk about, you have to put it in your mind never to hurt anybody again. So in other words, you're setting a stake and saying, this is my anchor. And if I start hurting, if I'm doing the wrong thing, your conscience will be much more sharper. Oh yeah. Much sharper. I know, but what is the simplest change people can make? And before that, can you talk about that? What you were just talking about that was fascinating. Yeah. So when you make up your mind not to cause harm to anyone or any creature, right. Buddha didn't just say humans. He said all sentient beings, dogs, cats, fish, insects, cockroach, never have the intention to cause anything, any harm, period. When you have that philosophy and you live by it for a few days, weeks, months, years, you start to feel a deep peace. And because you would never harm anything, the world doesn't want to harm you either, because you have that harmlessness within you, that peace within you, and you carry that peace with you wherever you go. Right? That's the point. Yeah. That's huge. I mean, I can relate to that because after I had my accident, then I had a stroke, and then I had a mental breakdown, and my company is always challenging all that. After all that happened, because I went through some things, I became a different person. Producer Barbie, and she helped me get there, calls it authentic. And through that, the dogs I was talking about, they have such a different aura themselves. I mean, they're getting older and actually happier because I have a different vibe about me. So when you talk about vibe and energy, I mean, people can say, but if you know it, why would you hold yourself back from something when you experience it, right?
Exactly. And then the duty is to share it with as many people as you can. So that's what I do.
Share the vibe or the information. I know you do the information and the vibe, but
all of it. Dan Martell, he's one of your guys. Well, he's from Canada, but we say he's one of your guys. Well, he's nearer America than we are. But Dan Martell is someone we admire because he's a Christian businessman, multimillionaire, and he says, "I give it all away. I give it all away. I give everything I have. I give it away." Why? Because you get back 10 times what you give away, number one. And number two, you're helping people shortcut the long, hard process of becoming successful, becoming an entrepreneur by sharing the wisdom now. Share your lived experience through your own voice box now, through your writing now. Do it now.
This show, we talked a little bit about, basically the message of this show is the things that we talk about, the subjects, experts come on about issues that the great middle class is concerned about, or things that can build them up and enlighten them, and make them, we have to prepare ourselves and become more intelligent. And not to say that there's all bunch of intelligence, but there's deeper thought. And we've got to get that done because we want to be able to support. I mean, life's coming fast. You said it. I'll add AI to that. I mean, it's coming lightning bolt speed, and we need to be evolved with that and be smart enough to choose our own government and our, within ourselves instead of just being lazy about it. So that's what this encompasses. And what you're talking about is you're advertising my show, dude. I mean, you're saying
let's run for government, Rod. Let's do this. Let's do the government thing.
I'm telling you, we're all over it. We're all over it. Let's do it.
That's it. I love it. So, shall we help Anita with her question?
Please, yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, loving this energy. What's the simplest change people can make today for a healthier future? Brilliant question.
By the way, before you go on, we're about a dozen questions behind, but absolutely take your time. I think we'll go a little bit more than an hour. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, it's fine. No worries.
I mean, we go until they're done listening to us.
I want to answer as many questions as possible. I do this all day, every day on podcasts and in my coaching. So I'm happy to help out as much as possible.
Yeah, and I want to dig into some of those things that you do. So go ahead, jump on to our friend here.
Okay, so what's the simplest change people can make today for a healthier future? Best thing to do for a healthier future is to do at least 10 to 15 minutes of breathing. So breathing practices through the nose and the mouth. I'll show you how to do this in a minute.
In and out that way. Yeah.
We'll go through an amazing method that helps. It's like one of the best breathing methods you'll ever do. And this is something we're bringing to humanity, to the 770 million insomnia sufferers globally.
Can I ask you something real quick?
Yeah, sure.
About breathing. I like I said, I'm doing a little bit of exercise, and some of the exercise coaching that goes on is controlled breathing to bring the stress down in your body. But that takes some effort. You're talking about doing it for 3.5 minutes. It's like a muscle. You have to build it, right? I don't know if I could, well, maybe we'll find out, but in the 45 seconds that I end up doing it 2 or 3 or 5 times, take in for 4, hold for 4, out. And that's all awesome. But it's this has got to be that on steroids, right?
It is. It is. And it's not that method. It's easier and quicker than that.
Good, because I always get before the calm comes, I'm it's like I'm fighting myself to make it the 4 count of 4, and I'm like, dude, hurry up.
Absolutely. Ali's I think it's Ali Inmore says this show is packed with value. Thank you. That's amazing. Yes. I feel so at home. This is the first time I've been on your show. I feel so at home here. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah, I do too. Thank you. That's kind. And pat me on the back for the perfect timing as you brought this subject up. Boom. A question.
Yeah, absolutely. How does the 3-3 breathing method compare to meditation? You see, that's a brilliant question. I'll give you the very short answer for this. When you learn a specific breathing method, it takes you into meditation. A lot of people have struggled with meditation for years because they don't know how to do it. They think they have to be outside for 45 minutes in the forest before they meditate. No, it takes 60 seconds to get people into a meditative state. 60 seconds. Guaranteed. Or your money back.
Every day. Every day. Deal. I'll take it. Every day.
And the good thing about this, if you can do it for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes at a time, you'll compound the effect. It's not 1 + 1, it's 3 × 3 now.
Yeah.
If you do it again.
Great way to put it. Love it.
Yeah, it just compounds. So I hope that helps. Got another question? Shall we do this?
Yeah. So we're love this concept of living 100 to 100 happily and healthy. What is your top tip for longevity? And I think we're starting to get down into a little bit of the nuts and bolts. We got to have the health. We got to have the exercise. You said get there, and then I'm ready to have you take me serious. We're there. Yeah. Now we go, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So 100 happily and healthy, got to do minimum 20 to 30 minutes good cardiovascular activity, like a vigorous walk or something like that. You've got to stay positive in your mindset so that you keep your energy up. And breathing methods for at least 10 to 15 minutes a day. If you can do flexibility as well, it's worth it because then you won't suffer as much with injuries. What would you rather do? Take care of yourself for 1 hour a day, like you take care of a car, or spend time in a hospital waiting for test results, waiting for doctors, waiting for a diagnosis, waiting for referrals from specialists who can't see you now because they're overstressed. And you're waiting, worrying, fearing, people are worried about you. What would you rather do? Spend 1 hour a day on yourself or go through all of that uncertainty and fear?
Yeah, but Raj, the 1 hour a day takes so much effort. I mean, there's that you got to sweat and you got to do a few things and you got to actually drive your own life. The hospital thing, you just lay there and just pay money and so that's my answer. But yes, an hour a day.
Yeah, you're hardly taking your power back though, are you? You're hardly actively.
No, not at all.
You need to make yourself.
No, that was just all sarcasm there. That was just screwing with you there. That was all that was. Did we get to this one? What are some quick stress reduce? By the way, where do you want to place in the doing some of the techniques and talking about your I think we're not really caught. Oh shit, we're further behind. By the way, every once in a while I cuss. I hope you don't mind that. By the way, I love Buddha. I don't love Buddha, but I love that is a beautiful way to live. Yeah. I've done a lot of not investigation, but I've been to Southeast Asia area a lot, and there's a lot depending on where it is, the different philosophies. Buddhism isn't a religion as much as although there's that higher power, it's about a whole lifestyle, right?
Do you know where Buddhism comes from? Yeah. Do you know where Buddhism? Sorry to cut you off there.
No. Because I kind of do, but I can't remember. But it's fascinating story. Sorry, go ahead, please. That's
cool.
That's a cool
That,
deal.
I just want to dial in here because there's something exciting that if you know this, most people do not. Well, I want you to know this, and then feel free to continue your narrative as well. But Buddha, the word Buddha comes from the Sanskrit word Bud, as in Buddhi,
Oh,
and Bud. And the funny thing is that the planet Mercury in Sanskrit is called Budva, Budva, meaning Wednesday. So Wednesday is traditionally the day of Mercury, which means quick thinking.
okay.
Quick thinking. So buddhi is to do with the intellect. And the Sanskrit name for the planet Mercury is Bud, as in Buddhi, Budva. Right? So it's all
Are
to do
you
with the
saying
mind. Of the
booty? Are you saying booty or buddy? I understand budva, but that's all the
Buddhi,
same.
Buddhi.
Booty, booty,
Yeah,
booty.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow.
It's all connected. It's all because Buddha comes from India.
Yeah,
Right? So it means
yeah.
all the yoga traditions, they all come out of India. Buddhism comes from India, from the traditional Vedantic root of yoga. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That is that's some digging we did there and got into some juicy stuff. Some things that, I'm always real quick, and then we'll go to the stress reducing techniques. But I like to say this, and I think you of all people, have you ever watched the show? Oh shoot, I'm forgetting the name of it now. It's about this guy that gets divorced, and it was a high school football coach in the United States, and through these chain of events, I don't know what. I've never seen the show. I see the clips, but he ends up in the United Kingdom coaching a what is it, fourth level. They're out of the Premier League. When you get relegated, right? That's the right word. He takes over this team. So he's an insightful guy. Obviously, everybody's against him in the beginning, and then he just wins them over because of things like this. I won't go through the whole story, although it makes the saying better. Roger Kipling, the poet, wrote amazing stuff all the time. But this story goes that at the end of the story, I don't really want to tell the whole story, but at the end of the story, he says, when I was younger, people always judged me. And the second half of this is perfect for what we're talking about. People always judged me, and it used to really bug me. And one day I was picking up my kid from school, and we turned the corner and painted on this wall, Roger Kipling, be curious, not judgmental. And that is stuck with me. I try and say it every show, if I can anyway wedge it in there. But basically, and then the rest of the story, he goes into why being curious. Because if they were curious, they would ask me, have you ever played darts before? There's this bet going on. And he goes, and I would have said yes, since I was for 16 years until my dad passed away every Sunday at this pub. And then, he went on, have you ever been, and so that curiosity, I've always been that way, but that statement just right to the core and how important things are. To like this, be curious about what this is. There's reality. Like you said, the educational system, they want to keep the man down. The man wants to keep us down. And why? Because they've been governments for, 3 millennia. The first one was in before the year 3000 BC or something. The first one, officially, there were two. It's all over in the Bibles and Quran and stuff, and then they've been practicing that all the way up till now. Our founding fathers, right? Your unfounded fathers became our. Wait, you're United Kingdom, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I'm trying to make a joke, and it's failing out of the gate here.
You know, the joke also, Rod, is that they say in the UK they've imbibed the school system from the US, which is based on the Rockefeller model, right? They say that it's a consumerist model that turns you into a like a cog in a hamster wheel that keeps you in bound to debt, problems, health problems, and you never find the solutions ever. You die. You're buried in the ground before you find out you were swallowed up in a matrix.
That's what we're trying to figure out. Yeah, that was a great show, by the way, The Matrix, one of my favorites. But yeah, you are swallowed up, and specifically the middle class. The elites have a lot more information than we do. They have access to it. Things like this give the ability to self-help yourself. You know, the talking heads, the news, the media, they'll talk on a script, on a line, but you know, the nice thing about speaking, turning a quick left here, left here. The educational system in Europe is, in at least certain areas, and correct me if I'm wrong, is way, I know we're sidetracking, but way better than the American, which, by the way, we're dismantling right now because it's so horrible over here. But for worse reasons than just teaching us to be a cog. But you know, I love those, and where kids are tested earlier on, and then wherever their abilities, sports, science, being an actor, you know, being a lawyer, they right? Doesn't Europe start on programs that start pushing or help kids evolve in the way that their test seems like they should be?
Well, you see, the thing is that the agenda, unless you really break out of the system to do your own thing, like you want to be a class athlete, or you want to be, you've got a big dream from the early stage yourself in life. If you don't build that trajectory for yourself, you're just going to be given the scraps like everyone else gets. You're going to be in a 9-to-5 job. You're going to be given a limited salary. You're never going to get rich. You're just going to be stuck. You're going to have marital problems, probably. You're going to have health problems, probably. Because all the big, as you said, all the elites, I'm going to drop some elite bombs for you because I want people to have it. Yeah. I don't want people to, for me, a human being is a precious, unique life. And for us not to know these things, which apply to all of us equally, it doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter who you are. Everybody has the right to have access to proper wisdom and knowledge and a blueprint to guide your life. Everybody is worthy of that. But why it's not taught, why it doesn't come up in the conversation, in the social narrative, it's just too long been in the dark, in the fog. In London, we have very foggy weather a lot of times. And people, they don't even know what they're looking at or what they're supposed to be looking at. It's very dark. And you can't have that mindset where you're in the dark. It's just really wrong. So you talk about elitist. I'm going to give you some elitist principles so you can take it with you. Everybody listening to your show can take it and go and learn and say, you know what? I have a more enlightened approach. Are we being observed by a higher power, Rod? Yes or no? There's my question for you.
My answer is yes.
There we go. So what does that higher power want us to do?
Yeah, exactly where you're leading us down here. Why are you making this so easy? You know, it's so simple. Let's go down the path, but I see where you're taking me here.
Yeah.
So
because I don't like people suffering. Period.
Yeah.
I see too much unnecessary suffering. I say if I'm out, I've never been to the doctor, as I mentioned, or taken medicine for 20 years. If I can do that and I can show people how to do that, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
You know, when I hear about people with all kinds of health issues and problems and they're on meds for years and years, it's doing nothing, they're getting side effects. I spoke to a woman on morphine for 15 years. And all her organs are dying inside because of the toxicity of the side effects. And I'm saying, how could your doctor keep you on morphine for 15 years and not realize you're going to have serious effects later in life? So she's being coached by us now. And we've taught her to alkalize her bloodstream because all disease processes happen from inflammation. When you reverse inflammation, alkalize.
I know what
Yeah.
adding alkaline, right?
Yeah, so you have acidity, which causes inflammation, and then you have alkalinity, which causes healing. So if you keep yourself in an alkaline state, you'll get rid of diseases.
Wait, hold on a second. Hold on. Stop for a second.
Yeah.
So I've been in the machinery business for a long time, and part of that is the plant, like the human body, has a water system, like our blood system.
Yeah.
I mean, much different, but the pictures there. In that, I learned a lot about your water. Because scale builds up, alkalinity and acidic and pH. There's a lot of
balance,
constantly watch. And we don't even watch it in our body. But are you saying those are the same things that what you're talking about, the alkalinity, if I'm saying that right, and the acidicness are things that are measured within our body, just like water?
Yes.
Well, I guess it makes sense. Our body's made of what, 72% water, 74, something like that.
And do you know why the body's made of 72% water, Rod?
Talk to me. Why? Because of the vibration stuff?
Listen, if someone's in a bathtub and you put an electric wire, what's going to happen?
In the water? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now, why is it? Because the conductivity of water is perfect for electricity.
Right.
And where is this electricity, Rod?
Oh my God. Yeah. So you're talking about the water helps the power of the vibes, the power,
Where's the electricity? Where's the electricity?
In the water? Are you talking about in me or
everyone?
Oh.
It's in the atmosphere. Through your breathing, you're breathing electricity, and that's what powers all the water systems to work and to get all the organs working.
That's interesting. You say that, because it makes me immediately think of ions and walking barefoot in the grass and that stuff that works. And sometimes we all say, it's crazy because I can't see it happen. Do you have dogs?
I used to have.
Okay, so I not all of them are this way, but my biggest guy, he's a big, bull in the china shop kind of guy, lovable guy, but he's not afraid of anything and runs like the wind. But when and there's going to be some tomorrow, when there's thunderstorms, this dude is just freaking out. He's just like, he's like scared. He's like, help daddy. And he hides in the closet. But I heard it's the sound, but it's not really that. The ions coming out of the thunderstorms that are brought. Dogs can feel that. At least certain ones can. Like Daisy, she could give a shit. But Boomer and I heard that's why they act that way. I'm assuming that's true, because now you're talking about ions.
Yes.
Everywhere.
We're talking about ions. We're talking about electromagnetism. It's surrounding us 24/7. So if you know how to pull this into your nervous system and your immune system, which I'm going to show you, you can avoid all medicine, all doctors, all hospitals for the rest of your life.
Okay, stop. I gotta say this, because you're going into some good stuff, but you just said something that made me think. Okay, so all this connection, ions, they're feeding this is happening there. Trees actually heal each other. None of this I'm preaching to the choir, so to speak. But you just said something that was really interesting. So we live on planet Earth, and all this different stuff's happening, and there's different energy zones, and we could get in the pyramid discussion on that energy process. But at the end of the day, we were built, or our creator put us in a place that we belong, like a comfortable cradle. We do, as long as we do what we're supposed to, the earth and us, like the old native Indians really were, and the Aztecs, and I'm sure a lot of other cultures, but that's the ones I know. They talk about being connected to the earth, and and it's so real. And so, are you alluding? I just want to ask a question. I take a long time to ask questions, don't I? Right? I know, I can take it. Are we put on this earth because we match the earth? Does that make sense?
Yes, but we're all here to fulfill a particular purpose or a mission or something. Which
I'm just talking about I'm just talking about physical being. Yes, I'm here for a reason.
Yeah, we're all here for a reason. The thing is that we all have a relationship with these energies, the earth, the food, the water, our bodies, other human beings, and so on and so on. But I want to just introduce one concept, which is very exciting, because if you think about your entire school system, all the school systems in the world at this point, they've never given you one single hour of instruction about what the mind is. They never talk about it. What is the mind? How does it work? Where is it? The reason why they cannot talk about it is because it's invisible. However, most of your life is governed by your mind. 90% of your life, if not more, is governed by your mind. And if you don't know how your mind works, how are you going to know how to make your life work if you don't know how your mind works?
True. So true. We're tying one arm behind our back in that method.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So as Swami Rama said, I'll give you this one quote and then we'll move on definitely. Swami Rama, great yogi.
I want to hear the breathing technique right after that, and then we'll jump on a couple other things. But say that, and then I want to hear about this. You got me all fired up, man. You're like that first date that keeps you interested and excited and teases you through the whole night if they're doing the right thing to win your heart. You got my heart. Let's dive, man.
Let's do this. So Swami Ram is a great yogi from India. He's practiced yoga. He's got a brilliant Himalayan yoga institute in Pennsylvania, in your neck of the woods. 400 acres of yoga institute. Yeah, in Pennsylvania. It's called the Himalayan Yoga Institute.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I mean, it's like massive.
Huge temple, massive healing temple, 400 acres in Pennsylvania. So he's Swami Rama from India originally. And he said one amazing thing, which it should be taught to everyone in the school system today, tomorrow, all the time. He says, all of the body is in the mind, but not all of the mind is in the body. All of the body is in the mind, but not all of the mind is in the body. What does that mean?
Yeah.
So the mind is invisible, but it encompasses the entire body. So if you know how to control the mind, you can control all your entire body through your mind.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, but he's saying the mind is so huge that not all of the mind is in the body because it's way bigger than the body will ever be. So if you're just dealing with the body in life, you have very little leverage. You have very little power. But if you deal with the mind, you have infinite leverage and infinite power.
Do you believe we used like less than 10% of our brain? And I want to get into this. The brain is not visible. So there's obviously the energy there. I mean, if I split my head open right now, just like the liver, it's visible, but that's not what you're talking about. The mind is something different than the gray matter, right?
Well, it uses the brain because the brain is very finely tuned. Again, it's got watery substance around it because it conducts electricity big time, constantly. If you know how to use this breathing method, which we're going to do in a second, you're going to enhance all the brain cells and the electric power of your brain to get further and further expanded, and you'll start to see reality differently.
Wow.
Totally differently, like I do.
Yeah. That's that, and people search constantly. Here's the path, it sounds like, right?
Yeah. If you're walking down the street and you're walking next to me, you don't know how big my mind is because you can't see it. Right?
Wow. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. I get it. Okay.
Yeah. But I could be seeing things that you can't see because of the strength and the power of my mind is so huge. You can't see it, even though you're walking next to me. But I could tell you, oh, Rod, did you see this? Did you see that? Do you know why that's happening? And you go, I didn't think of that. Right? Because it's not within the range of your consciousness.
Great point. Great point. Wow. Okay. So I really want to do this breathing thing. Hold on. What do we got here? We got plenty of time, but we got a lot of hang in there, guys. We'll get to you. Just hang in there. Let's do this. Some quick stress reducing techniques for busy professionals. I'm assuming that question dials directly with the breathing techniques, right?
Correct. Absolutely.
Tie those two together. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. So for this method, okay, you just need to understand that around you is not just air. It's light, it's electricity, it's magnetism. So if you know how to take this into your system and do so on a regular basis, you will change your life from within. Okay. Now, the first thing to do for this method is to first check your nostril flow. So what you're going to do, Rod, is block one nostril and breathe it in and out a few times out the opposite one. So like this.
Either one?
Yeah. And then block the other one.
That's a luck. Yeah. This one's easier.
Yeah.
I can hear yours good. You got some air going.
Yeah, because I'm always 50-50 because I do so much breathing methods.
Well, and there's a lot of air coming out each time compared to me. Well, this one's really bad.
Yeah.
What do they call it?
The septum, you could have a deviated septum or the turbinates.
That's what I hear. I hear that. Yeah. That's a big deal. But okay, so let's get back.
Okay. So what's the ratio? Is it 70-30? What would you say it is roughly? Between
the two? I'd say more like 80-20. Now it changes because of mucus and whatever. Okay, but it's I'd say more like 80-20 probably. 80? No. 80? Maybe 20, maybe 15, 85.
So 20 on the 80 on the left, 20 on the right at the moment. Yeah.
20 on the right. Yes.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Now, for this, I'll also ask you on a scale of 1 to 10, Rod, how do you feel right now? 1 being terrible, 10 being amazing. Where would you say you sit on that scale?
I'm with you. That's not a fair question. Right now, I'm in the where I want to be, but I'd say I awesome. Not quite amazing. Awesome. Can I do that?
8.5, 9, maybe. Oh,
okay. Yes, 7.9 to 8.5. Let's go there.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
All right. Have you practiced any breathing methods before? Like
Wim
Hof? Okay. And how were they?
We were talking about them earlier. That breathe in 4 seconds, 4 counts, hold for 4, and then release for 4, and some similar variations off of that. And I hate doing that. It sucks.
Okay.
It's hard.
It is. Have you heard of Wim Hof, the Iceman?
The Iceman? No, sir, I have not.
He's very famous on YouTube. He's got millions of followers. He's walked up the Himalaya mountains in just a t-shirt, just shorts, and he's helping people raise awareness through breathing. But his one is very difficult. It's very demanding. Ours is very soft and gentle.
Okay.
Right. So what you're going to do, Rod, is you're going to breathe in 3 parts through the nose like this, and then 3 parts out of the mouth like this.
Okay.
An elongated exhalation on the 3rd exhale.
Awesome. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, perfect.
Okay. All right, guys. I hope I don't get blackmailed by this and it's taken out of context and just to show how goofy I am. I think that's well known anyway. Okay, ready?
Yeah, but relax, gentle, smoothly.
Okay.
Not too hard and short. Like, no, it's more like. Nice rhythm.
You draw so much air through. I can hear. I mean, I can tell, and I'm sure mine's going to be in sounds or whatever. But I can tell, man. You have that air, like you said. You're opened up. All right, let me get to this. I'm not stalling anymore.
That's
Okay, that
good.
was a little more relaxed. That was a little better.
Yeah. So the good thing about this, just so your followers and listeners can understand, you don't have to worry about the diaphragm. You don't have to worry about the belly. You don't have to worry about the clavicles. You don't need to worry about any of that. You just have a straight, relatively straight spine. So your chin is up straight, eyes are closed, and gently get a rhythm.
Ooh, this is easy.
It is easy.
Remember how I told you the 4-second one? Sorry, I shouldn't be cutting you off there. I asked you to do it. Now I'm like, whoop. Remember that 4-second thing I was telling you about, how challenging that is, because especially the hold part, I'm like, come on, dude, get to 4. And I know every time they're doing it longer than 4, but that's I don't do it as much as I could or should because of that. Probably I'm human. But this, and I already feel, I mean,
yeah, ha ha ha, like you're laughing, ha ha ha, but without the vocal cord. Without the vocals, yeah. And what we're going to do, Rod, we're going to do it for a minute together, and I'm going to talk you through what happens. Okay?
Oh shit!
Really
can I go off the? Do I need to have the camera on? I can do this.
Yes. Let everyone see it.
Oh, you dirty rat!
Let everyone see it.
All right, fine.
I'll guide you through everything. Don't worry. Just follow my instructions.
I'm with you, brother. I'm with you.
Because I want everyone to feel and see how you respond and how you react.
I'm a guinea pig.
We've done it thousands of times. So don't worry.
When I sign up for this show, not this show, but the podcast, I always thought I'd be harassing other people, and now karma's coming back, and you're gonna set me out, and I got to do it right. Okay, let's do this thing. I'm ready.
I'm going to set a timer, and then on the count of 3, we just do the same gentle rhythm. Okay, nice, relaxed, and gentle. Okay.
Nice, relaxed, and gentle, continuous through this time.
Yeah, very gentle. Nothing forced, nothing pressurizing. Just go a bit slower if you need to, a bit faster, whatever you suits you, but nice and gentle, soft, relaxed.
You're getting oxygen into the brain, aren't you?
Exactly. You already got it. It.
I totally get it. Yeah, totally get it. Yeah, this is smart. Okay, you ready? Tell me when.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, and go. Keep the eyes closed.
Not yet. I got more. Hold on. Dude, I'll tell you the first thing right out of the gate, my nasal situation is totally changed.
Okay, close your eyes for a second, Rod. Close your eyes for a second. I want to talk you through this. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Right. That's okay. It's okay. Just relax completely. Just relax. Just feel what's happening within. Just relax. Be aware of what's going on. Just relax. I'm going to ask you a few gentle questions and just feel what's happening. Okay. So, first thing, Rod, tell me what you feel overall. How do you feel? What do you notice?
More open and
Mhm.
definitely calmed and settled. Peaceful.
Mhm.
Feel peaceful. That's right.
Yeah.
And full of oxygen.
Full of oxygen. Great. And did you notice your in the brain any cool sensations or any activity in the brain, anything in the sinuses or the nasal passages, anything like that? Did you notice?
A cooling thing here, but as I said, the nasal passages were also dynamically affected. I mean, positively, to the point where I think this one's more open than this one is now.
Uh-huh.
More of a
You said
50-50.
what, bro? From 80-20 to 50-50 in 60 seconds.
100%. 100%.
Wow. Wow. That is amazing.
Can I open my eyes or no?
No. Wait. Just one second. I'll talk you
I
through
wanted
just
to
a
do
couple of things.
this.
Yeah, just a couple of things. Right now, Rod, just feel it for a moment. Now, did you feel your heart rate slow down a bit?
I did.
Yes, good. Did you feel the monkey mind chatter that most of us have in this very busy world? Did you notice that monkey mind chatter sort of decrease a bit?
No, I mean, literally, it became like a calm ocean breeze. That conversation still doesn't exist right now.
Right. So the monkey mind chatter, which normally people have, that has completely sort of reduced, or it's much less than it would normally be.
Hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely. 100% or gone.
Yeah. This is how we're able to help people with ADHD completely get rid of that within a minute or two. That's how we're doing it. Now,
Within how long?
1 to 2 minutes. So within 30 to 90 seconds.
Okay.
Okay.
Wow.
Now, last couple of questions. Did you feel a growing sense of awareness or expansiveness of mind beyond the body? Like kind of an awareness that was expanded beyond the flesh and bone. Did you feel something like that?
Oh my God. Yes, I did. It felt
Mm.
like felt something coming out, something I felt an awareness of something different, a space that I'm in that I'm usually always in, but this felt different.
Yeah. Was it pleasant?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that you felt an 8.5 or a 7.5 or an 8 out of 10 before. What would you say you feel now?
I'd definitely say 10, 9.
No.
Yeah, 10.
Yeah. Okay. And given that you just did this for 60 seconds, how surprised are you at how quickly it worked?
10. Very
10.
surprised. Yeah, very surprised.
Yeah. Now your nostril flow, you can check now and say, is it more balanced now than previously?
Yes, absolutely. Probably more like, well, when I do them both, I can't tell any difference. Normally, when I breathe both at the same time, only coming in here, just kind of not able to flow through there right now. No matter what I do, I feel it now. If I touch them, I'd say it's closer to 55, 45. This,
Yeah.
because this is still just like a cavern. This side is just, but yeah, it's a total difference.
Yeah.
Trying to
Now
keep
you
my eyes
can,
closed, I promise.
yeah, you can see how when we do this method with people with insomnia, they fall asleep usually within 60 to 90 seconds.
That's crazy. Turn off the TV, lay back, and do that for 60 to 90 seconds.
either lying down in bed or sitting up in bed, and then you just gently go back under the covers, and then you sleep like a baby.
God, I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
I'm so troubled with sleeping.
Yeah, people with ADHD, again, when they're troubled, they take meds for years sometimes because they can't switch off that mental chatter keeps on going. They do this within, say, 30 to 60 to 90 seconds. All that chatter disappears, and they can fall asleep, and it's very peaceful.
Can I open my eyes? Okay.
Yeah. Now, go ahead. Yeah.
When you just said that, oh my God, that's what happens. Like, especially when it's a good day, because my mind is just it's chatting, and I try not to get it to. I even turn on, aside from other things, I even turn on like forensic files because it's a very slow monotone tone kind of thing that I don't care much about, but I just hear that softness. And,
Yeah.
But last night I was up till 11:30 battling with it. I was tired. I was drained coming out, and I still couldn't go to sleep because the mind firing started. Yeah. Oh my God. I am all over this tonight. So you're saying in bed, turn everything off, and then roll into this, which is very simple to do. And it's not like you have to try and figure it out. Oh shit, you got to do this. But that's
Correct.
Pretty simple to do. Also to clean out your lungs, like, if you've got fluid and that stuff, it kind of breaks that stuff up too, as well. Does it? I mean,
That's right. That's why I haven't had a cold or a flu for 20 years.
Yeah.
I've not had a flu jab. I've not taken antibiotics or anything for 20 years because my system's always cleared out with energy.
Wow. All right. I got a challenge for you. We haven't made any jump. Can we do, what do you want to do? Talk about how your practice works first, or do you want to get through at least 4 or 5? I don't want to wait till the very end and read off 10 of them because they keep coming. So
yeah, no, these are the questions. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. You want to do the questions first, and then we'll talk, because I really want to see how this all works, because you're in you're in London and I'm in Oswego, Illinois. So technology obviously is a big deal. So let's, but I do want to get in that because it's very interesting.
Yeah.
Let's start here as far as, well, okay, here it is. Sorry. We were talking about insomnia and you already answered that, just where we were there. So, right.
The passive money plan says, can these techniques help with insomnia instantly? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So we're doing it every day with people. Yeah.
I mean, wait, passive money. I wonder if that's my son has something like that. He's my son's 41 or something, but that's interesting. Anyway, do it tonight. I mean, do it now unless you're driving. Don't do it if you're driving.
Yeah, don't do it when you're driving. But if you're at home, you're relaxed, you can do it on the couch, you can do it in bed.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine. Absolutely fine.
So this one always kind of concerns me because I've gone in it. I'm a glass half full guy most of the time, but I'm constantly fighting battles. So, sometimes you kind of go, oh no, it's empty. Don't tell me it's full. I feel it. It's not. So you go back and forth, but that healthy mindset, it's got to add greatly to mental health and life's longevity.
So everything Jacksonville, Florida says, how important is mindset in health and longevity is absolutely critical, because when you think positively, it has an electrical charge that takes place in your brain and through your mind. And that also has a knock-on effect on all of your bodily systems and your organs. That's why people who do great things in the world are usually very upbeat, positive, optimistic type of people, right? If you try to start a business and you're depressed, you're not going anywhere. I think you probably get a sense of that. But if you're upbeat, you're positive, you're hopeful, that positive energy helps you live longer. It helps you enjoy your life. It helps you enjoy people around you, your wife, your kids, your in-laws, society in general. Like what we're having now.
Can it help you be less or more aesthetic in how you run a show instead of turning the camera to camera 3, which is an in, and I'm looking at a blank thing going, what the hell's going on? So yes, I mean, and will it help with that?
Absolutely.
Mind fog, right? Right. That's a real thing. Mind fog. We're getting that kind of, you talked about London has a lot of fog. You're blowing it away, right?
Absolutely.
That's a good one. That's a little marketing. Blow your fog away, your brain fog away. Okay. So the Sonette Bon Bait. Hey, by the way, I took the coward's way out and I didn't pronounce your last name. Can you so Raj, Mr.
Raj Khedun.
Khedun.
Yeah.
Khedun. You told me and then brain fog.
Okay.
So
Okay.
Raj, what's the best? This is saying it. What's the best way to start morning routines that boost longevity? By taking the first step, right?
Right. Found a nice Dutch name, I think there.
We get a lot of Dutch. Actually, it's funny. One of our first interviews was Dutch, and we actually doing a lot. Somebody's flying out here from there to. I love the Dutch. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, Marlene is actually Dutch as well. From
oh, really?
Yeah. From Amsterdam.
No wonder I liked her. Yeah, I was in Amsterdam a few times. I used to do business with some people outside of Amsterdam, and so I fly there quite a bit. Turkey as well. But oh man, what a beautiful country.
It is.
The hotel I stayed in has a Harley museum. I'm a Harley rider. That's well, not anymore. Certainly not right now, but I've been riding all my life, but Harleys recently. And I got in this hotel. I was doing some business. The people set up the appointment thing or whatever, the reservation. I got in. It was kind of late at night. I had our dinner, went to bed, got up the next day, had some the morning kind of free. God, the food was awesome. But I look over and there's a freaking Harley museum. And I'm thinking, a couple of that had like 300. I mean, I swear to God, there was 500 bikes in this museum, all Harley. So I love that. I love that area. It's just awesome. So I took up some of the air again. Best way to start is we're talking about, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step, right?
Morning routine that boosts longevity. So the best way is I would definitely recommend breathing methods for at least 5 to 10 minutes per day. After you wash, use the restroom. Before your breakfast, do 5 to 10 minutes breathing with your eyes closed.
That exercise?
Yeah.
That exercise? Okay. 5 minutes after you eat and whatever.
No. Okay. Before eating, after you use the restroom and you're washed and everything, do that for about 3 to 5 minutes, and that will help to really connect your mind, your body, and your soul, everything together. Then you can go about your day. You're in flow state. When you get into this state and you do it for 3 or 5 minutes, it's like the Matrix films. Everything slows down. Everything slows down. Right? And you get
one of the best films of all time.
It is.
Life slows down and it comes to you now. It's like an athlete, playing the game. You've heard that, right? This game slows down. That's what you're talking about. Great. A game, it slows down your whole life, right? That's what you're talking about. You walk through life.
Flow state. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you're flow state. You're walking through life like, how do you describe what they used to do? I mean, they're moving at 10,000 miles a second, and the world is so slow, so nothing becomes difficult anymore. That's a concept. My son believes very much in that. Very much in that.
Absolutely.
Brandon. So where are we at? Matt Daly. How do small daily habits impact our ability to live a long and healthy life? You talked about it. And by the way, this stuff becomes addictive, right? You replace one habit with another. So like you said, do it every day for 5 minutes, that breathing exercise. You won't be able to not do it. I think it's 2 weeks it takes to shift a habit or something
you'll
like that.
notice, yes, you'll notice when we coach people, we go through the method and they realize, oh, I'm in this neuroplastic state, a state where you're very amenable to change. And we start doing the coaching of affirming the correct thing that you want to manifest in your life, that you want to change. Addiction you want to give up. Alcoholism, addiction to drugs or weed.
That just
or
drops off. That stuff just peels off.
You're able to code the mind better when you're in that soft plastic state of mind, neuroplasticity, they call it. Yeah.
Okay. So when you say that the coaching is, you're able to break through alcoholism, drug addiction, and that kind of stuff at a different
brain octave.
The brain is more ready and soaking it in than receptive. Good word. Wow. That's awesome, dude. Dude. Let's Kathy says, are there any surprising factors that influence our lifespan that most people overlook? Oh, Kathy. Yeah, I don't know if it's a good question, but it's an awesome question. It's very, what are surprising factors that have an effect on lifespan? That's the
biggest one. The biggest one is the breathing, because remember, as we discussed, Rod, what's around us is light, electricity, magnetism. It's not air.
Yeah.
Do not think it's just air. It's not. There's something very, very special hidden surrounding all of us at all times. If you don't know that, you will die and you won't realize that you could have done away with meds, doctors, hospitals, x-rays. You could have done away with all of that if you'd just known how to take this power into yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fascinating because, right? Protons, electrons, in our daily conversation, these things are out there. We've learned since 6th grade science class, but we don't actually learn it. It's another thing. The school system, they talk about it, here's what it looks like, but to put it in a perspective that if you were teaching that class that I was sitting in back then, and we had that view of what science is, I swear to God, every student in there would have been excited and interested because it's a fascinating thing,
Exactly, because you realize what you're talking about. You're not just talking about it as a concept separate from yourself. That's it.
Affects me directly. This makes you better, and this is why, or this allows you to exist, and this is why. I hope our school system gets better. How does quality sleep contribute? And this is one of my biggest issues. Hey, Jack, is that a mitter? That sounds
a miter.
Jackamiter. Oh, that's a fun name to say. Jackamiter. Hey, Jackamiter.
Very cool.
I love it. How does quality? Go ahead.
To living a longer, healthy life. Yes. So when you sleep, you actually tap into the reservoir of all powers, which is in your spine. That's what happens to your energy. It gets recharged by what we call the chakras, the energy centers in your spine. So without sleeping, you don't have cognitive awareness. You feel grumpy. Your emotions are not fully energized. So your speech suffers. You feel, depressed. You could miss time and have an accident because you're not looking around you carefully. We've had that happen a lot. When you go, exist on 2 hours sleep for 2 or 3 days, you're inviting trouble. Don't do it.
100%.
Don't do it.
It can even get to the point where the mind starts hallucinating, right?
Yes, correct. So you need enough sleep. Between 6 and 8 hours is more than enough. And if you do the breathing methods on top of that, you will reinforce your nervous system and your immune system, and you'll be able to live a quality life with the people you love, with yourself, with your pets, with the world, and so on. So,
dude, we're not. and I'll say it again, dude, we're not, we're not, we're not quite near done. But I want to follow up. I want to go through this process, and that's going to be fun because this is a life. We always talk about working with professionals to combat mental health. You're talking about using your body to eliminate mental health. Now, there's extremes in everything, but basically that's what we're talking about here. And that's why
Correct.
I said the school system should be teaching it that way.
That's why we are trying to get into the school system. And Rod, people like yourself, people who campaign to say, look, teach my kids yoga, please, from the beginning, they will face very few problems. And there'll be more interesting, creative problems, not with the body again, the old flesh and bone thing. Like, that's been going on for centuries. Like, enough of that. Let's get onto something better now, you know?
And you know what? It's funny.
Yeah.
Sorry. You know, it's funny because there's a very, if you grow up in that, you have a better, all these things become much more natural. To a much lesser degree, I grew up in the military. We moved around a lot, but my dad put me and my sister in Taekwondo, not because we needed to learn how to fight, but it's very it's very internal looking. It's about defense. Exactly. It's about defense. So I can see where growing up within this is make that next level. And did I ask you earlier, do we use 10% of our brain? Is that I mean, is that a real thing? I always ask you that because I believe it.
It's unfortunate, but we must learn. When you learn this breathing technique, you open up more of your brain cells and start to realize there's so much awareness of things you can see now. Like me, for example, I teach people this so they can see more. The field of their expanded awareness is so huge. You say, where was this knowledge hiding all my life? It's because you didn't know how to use your breath to stimulate your brain.
You didn't tap into it.
That's right. So what you've done, it's all there. What you've done is you've tapped into endorphins, which are in your brain, pain-relieving hormones in your brain, dopamine, serotonin, which are feel-good, happy hormones. Also anandamide, which comes from the Sanskrit word bliss. Ananda means bliss. You have a bliss molecule in your brain. Yes,
and
that's why
that do.
It makes you feel happy, joyous.
Okay, yeah, I figured bliss. No kidding.
Yeah, because that's why.
That word is huge. It's not good. It's bliss.
Yeah, Ananda means bliss. Anandamide is a chemical in your brain.
Wow.
And this method releases anandamide into your bloodstream naturally. That's why people look for DMT, ayahuasca, weed, cannabis, all this stuff, because they're trying to release the anandamide from the brain.
Stop it right now. I have been talking to producer. I should mute myself about ayahuasca. That's fascinating stuff because I want to expand my brain. Exactly. Yeah. I don't need it. And the danger, if you don't have a journey, or what do they call them, a guide. It's like any kind of drug hallucinogen. I mean, it could be a bad trip, but you got to have a guide to do it. That's how bad the medicine is for you. This I could do all by myself, huh? I don't need a guide for this, do I?
You don't need a guide for this. And when doctors are doing it with us from the National Health Service, they say, I used to take DMT, I used to take ayahuasca, and they don't need it anymore because they're doing it naturally.
Really? Okay, get into that a little bit, and then we're gonna, if you don't mind, we'll get back. Okay, we're better. What is the best way to manage stress naturally without medication? Now we're going to talk about that in a second. Before that, complete your thought about, because you and I talked about the doctors that come in and work within your system because of what you're doing and the results and the statistics, the data that comes out of it. So let's start there and then go into back into the questions a little bit, if you don't mind, because that'll lead us a little bit into oh, by the way, it's so funny because people can verify this all the time. The Health Watch stuff is all the time. And I'm constantly, I had a stroke and I had a mental thing. And so I have doctors that I was in the hospital like 3.5 months. I had to learn how to rewalk and everything, but I had a strip on my chest. They always watch to see if my arrhythmia is off, and it always goes back to sleep. All the stuff that I'm that I'm ailed by all goes back to sleep. And so on here, it shows how much sleep, what were your sleep cycles, where's deep sleep, deep sleep's different than REM sleep. And then there's that light sleep. I have way too much light sleep or getting up, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
So you could prove this, man. I mean, you can physically, scientifically prove human biology and spirituality. I mean, I'm trying to think of things you can't see. You could see this, man.
Yeah. I mean, people that we've trained, a 75-year-old guy we trained from America, actually, he had heart arrhythmias. And we got his his heart rate down by 15% in 90 seconds. So we taught him a method how to dial the heart rate down so that his heart palpitations don't become irregular by teaching him this method. And he's been able to get his heartbeat down 15 beats a minute just by doing this method for 5 minutes. And that effect lasts for hours.
It's a big deal. That's a big deal. 15% lowering because it's a muscle, but this isn't one you don't want to overwork. This is one that stress, if you're taking, what'd you say, 15 beats a minute off?
Yeah.
That's a resting state. Everybody, they always talk about that. What's your heartbeat rate? What's your resting rate? And the older you get, the more important that gets,
Absolutely. So
the
best way to manage stress without medication, definitely this breathing method, the 3-3 Metaverse breathing method, is one of the best. Sure.
So you're saying we can go completely off. We can make the big pharma, the big chemical companies that basically run the world with our money, meaning the world's money, and especially the middle class, because we're what's subject to that. Lesser health, more infections, more stuff, and then we also, especially if you're poor, you tend to not be able to get access to better foods because you can't afford them. Right. Another thing, it's just people who have zero money buy crappy food, right? Yeah. I mean, they have to. they have to. So, what are your top 3 exercises for keeping the body strong as we age? Now, I'm assuming exercises, this could be a number of different things, like physically stretching, running, or exercises mentally, like breathing, yoga. So there's a big bunch of answers there for that question.
Yeah.
I'm
to answer Jack, 3 exercises. I would say, to answer Jack's question there, I would say body weight squats, some kind of walking daily.
With body weight, just
squats on your legs.
Your body, just your body.
Yeah. Okay. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So you squat up and down.
Not having 100 pounds on your shoulder.
No. You don't need to do that. If you do 3 sets of 12 body weight squats and throw in 15-20 minutes vigorous walking or treadmill or rowing machine or elliptical trainer, that is fantastic. And some Tai Chi, like 5-10 minutes of Tai Chi, that's fantastic.
Can I ask you a question? Well, we're on a show that's what we do. So I that's a rhetorical thing, I know, but be nice and say, yeah. What are you thinking, Rod? When you talk about body weight squats, I told you I was an athlete. Like I was into wrestling and all that for a long time. And one of the things we used to do is sit against a wall and like a chair, because you're building that muscle area there, in a very critical area. I mean, that encompasses your knees, your hips, your lower back, which is always the most susceptible. And so when you're doing those squats, I have a totally different angle at this question. How far down, like I can't, my knees, I've had 2 or 3 surgeries in each knee, don't work but can you over time, because I noticed stretching what I'm doing, I used to have a lot more arthritis. I probably still have arthritis, but I don't feel, my neck used to always hurt, and on and on and on. I can't get as far down as I used to when there was no gray on my face here. Can you actually recover that back in the knee?
You can. I strongly recommend you do. I do not sit on chairs with a 90-degree angle, because it means that I'm not bending my knee far enough to get the stimulation to keep the knee mobile. So I never sit on chairs like normal chairs anymore. I never sit on chairs.
How do you
sit on beanbags. I sit on beanbags, or I sit cross-legged on some other kind of way.
I get that.
Ottoman box, at dinner table, or beanbag. I make sure that I get down and I get up, and I get down and I get up. I use my muscles and my legs all the time.
Lubricating.
Yeah, you've got to keep using it. If you don't use it, you'll lose it. So if you sit like this with a 90-degree angle, by the time you reach 30, you've got arthritis in your hip, in your lower back, and you're not enjoying full movement. In Asia, they do Asian squats, meaning they can scrub the floor on their hands and knees and have no problem, because they turn it into an exercise. But in the Western person, tell them to get on their hands and knees, they don't want to do it. They feel pain. It's endless.
Stocks. Endless sucking.
Yeah,
It is the worst thing. Wow. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Wow.
Never sit. If you can, try to find a better way to bend your knee more often. Like I sit cross-legged, I do yoga postures, I don't use chairs anymore. You'd say, right, but you go to social occasions, this and that, they all use chairs. But I say, I don't want a chair. Let me sit on the ground or get a cushion for me. But I don't want to sit on those chairs anymore.
Yeah. I get that. I get that. What a devastating quality or lack of quality of life that we set ourselves up from when we start, what's the old saying? As soon as you're born, you're already starting to age. You're already starting towards death, which is kind of morbid now that I just said that. But the importance is really getting people into this. You're talking about 1 billion people to have a quality of life by the time they're of 100 years or more, and really that becomes easier and easier and easier with each generation. Because if I grow up like this and I have a couple of kids, and I don't even know that I have to tell them. It's like, hey, yeah, come on, Jonas, this is cool, and because it's a different world that you live in now with that, right?
Yeah. So Lynn Sok, I'm wondering if she's from either Singapore or China or Taiwan, maybe. But how can someone stay motivated to maintain a healthy lifestyle long term? So Tai Chi, if she's from Asia, Tai Chi, absolutely. Martial arts, forms of Wing Chun, Taekwondo, even the forms. You don't have to fight. You don't have to fight anyone. Just do the forms, do the stretching, do the kind of the mental rehearsal and the physical rehearsal of certain routines. Fantastic for development of coordination, strength, flexibility. Brilliant. So
that is awesome. And I'm glad you put I think Taekwondo, you said that, right? I've always loved the fact that we did that, because it did add a different way to, literally you're learning those effects, which physically is good, but there's so much more that you work on mentally to bring that together, right?
Correct. Absolutely.
Are there any specific foods? Oh, I'm not going to like this conversation. I'm not going to like what you say in this conversation, because I'm, again, more exposing of this dumb, great middle-class dude here. So I'm going to have to improve. I know that's what the show's about. Now I have to do it. I karma, right? Now I'm getting karma. Are there any special foods you recommend for boosting energy and longevity?
I would say
already plants.
fruits and vegetables, like if you just increase the ratio that you take a bit, 20 or 30% more, then you have less red meat and less toxins from the hormones that are pumped into meat. Then you're going to have less problems with your health. Drink
Great
more
point.
water. Yeah, drink more
Great
water.
point.
Use breathing methods. When I don't even have to drink, Rod, believe it or not.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, because you're pulling the moisture in from the air.
Because there's electricity in the atmosphere, and I sustain myself from light, electricity, and magnetism rather than food, rather than water. It's all,
Oh,
everything is contained in this atmospheric power. I'm telling you, everything is here.
wow. That makes 100%. So before this is just a pat on the back. Bradley here, he agrees with us. Oh no, I'm sorry. He's talking about what you're talking. I misread that. But anyway, talk about your book. And there's one other thing. I was trying to remember what I wanted to say. What was the last conversation we were discussing? What were the last things you said before I rudely interrupted you?
About the everything is in light, electricity, magnetism. I don't have to drink. I need to eat that much at all.
Yeah. And two questions for you. Thank you very much. Ding. One, I've gone through when I started after the motorcycle accident, I needed to exercise and I needed to lose some weight. Both critically important. But anyway, I started the fasting, where you there's programs. One, what do you feel about that overall? Like going days without food and drinking all water, basically, which is awesome. And believe me, I felt great. Actually, I don't eat that much anymore, and I'm continually moving down. But obviously, your energy is lower. It's harder to exercise to a high point. So there's good and bad there. Also, another one. I'm going to throw you a curveball, and we're getting ready to wrap it up. So if I say something stupid now, at least I didn't say it in the beginning of the show, where in the back of your mind you're going, okay, what about what's those pills? Fruits and vegetables. I take them. They're supplements. Balance of nature is what it's called. So you get a green bottle. It's your vegetables and pills because it's ground up vegetables and freeze whatever. And they say it actually tastes like vegetables if you open a capsule and stick it on your tongue. And then the fruits. And then some people go for the spice. Is that stuff? I know you need those supplements, but short of actually eating what you're supposed to, if you're not getting enough of that, and let's say you're on a fasting thing, do those things work at all? Do you know, or do you even care about them?
I think it's wise to have a reasonable balanced diet with, the more fruits and veggies you have, the less you need vitamins and other supplements, because most of it will come from your food. In old days, when we were younger, when we were healthier, as cavemen or that kind of thing, they ate natural food. Yeah,
hunter-gatherers, right?
Yeah, they didn't have all these supplements and things, and they did pretty well.
They did.
I'm saying from my own experience, just so people can take heart, I don't fuss about my diet anymore. I'm a vegetarian, but I can eat pretty much anything I want because I use electricity from the atmosphere to power my nervous system and my immune system and my circulatory system and my bone system and my muscular system is all powered by electricity. So because I do that, I can be very flexible. I can drink, not drink. I can eat, not eat. It doesn't matter. So
because your body's more powerful, like what we do to it all day long with pollution, with food, with everything, to show how amazing the body is. We're constantly throwing toxins at it from decades, from all our life, and our body's still able to get us living a life that realistically, if it wasn't more powerful, we wouldn't probably be here. Hey, Raj, this has been awesome. Any final thoughts? And by the way, dude, this is a record for the show. This was an easy, it's 2 hours. This was a record go. It was just so easy too. It was very interesting, and it wasn't like, oh, this is pixie dust kind of. This is provable. Is that right? Things that you're talking about. So, final thought, and then I'll wrap up on the other side when you're in the green room.
Sure. I mean, I know Bradley had a great question there. Your book, How Squats Can Change Your Life, sounds like a must read. Well, if you check it out on Amazon, Rob Van Dam, he wrote.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead. No, please.
Yeah, the WWE wrestler Rob Van Dam. He's the one that wrote the foreword. Yeah, he's the one that talks about flexibility. Definitely read that book because it gives you the mindset to take control over your body again, and not rely on chairs and things like that. So you can really get.
You can find that on Amazon, I assume, right?
Yeah.
Do you have a website also where that's coming?
Yeah. So keepfitkingdom.com. You can find everything on keepfitkingdom.com.
There you go.
And to wrap up, what's happening is the wellness aspect is the wellness aspect of life for most humans is overtaking everything else because they want to feel good mentally, spiritually, physically, everything. So go to the Keep Fit Kingdom site and look at the 3 products, because there you'll find all the feedback about the breathing that we're doing that helps transform people's lives. So it doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter where you're from, the breath is the universal dynamic of the universe. We deal with that now on that level. So you can read the testimonials, you can read the feedback, you can WhatsApp us through the website, you can email us. Happy to answer questions. There's tutorials you can buy as products. It's very, very cost effective, like $50 or something like that. Very, very cost effective for what you get in terms of being able to transform your life with life affecting methods that start immediately when you start using them. Just like you did the breathing method here. You found within a minute, your nostrils balanced out. You got into a
Still.
Yeah.
Wow.
Flow state. All within the very short time that we're now moving. We have AI, we have all these technologies. This is a neurotechnology for the mind, the body, the spirit. So get into that.
Yeah. I asked you to make a final comment, but I'm going to take that back for a second, if you don't mind, because I want you to talk a little bit about like the book. Oh, by the way, what I also was going to say, when we do kind of wrap things up and you say, hey, give them a wave to your new fans. When you're in the green room, can you type in? You can only type for whatever reason in the private chat, but it's inevitable. People are going to come up 3 weeks from now, a month from now, tomorrow, whatever, and they're going to ask me questions about this show. It happens all the time. So I ask you to put in your contact information so I can refer them back to that. And I don't want to say shovel. Shovel's not beat them to you. Yeah. So you have that. So can you put that in before we leave? The other thing, I want to talk about this book a little bit, and I also want to talk about even more than that. I think I want to talk about your program, your business, the people that are there doing, what are they doing? We talked a little bit about coaching. We just kind of skimmed the surface. Can we spend 2, 3, 5 minutes on that, if you don't mind?
Sure.
I want to know how it works.
Assistant. Yeah, first of all, I'll have Rod. I'll have my assistant Marlene email you all the details. So if people have any inquiries, you can just lead them to that if that helps. So for the book, I would say definitely, you need to understand how you can take control back over your health. If you do simple exercises and just rethink how you do things, rethink how you sit, rethink how you use your physiology. Think about when you walk, do you walk with a chin up? Do you walk with the spine straight? Do you walk with your shoulders back to keep a posture nice and you have an S curve? Are you maintaining that? Are you looking on the floor when you're walking? Are you looking people in the eye when you're walking? Are you smiling at people? Are you saying hi? What are you doing? Don't look at the ground, because you'll have a stooping back by the time you reach 25 or 30. You're looking at the floor, and then what happens is you start to become even more and more off alignment in terms of your spine, because gravity pulls you down. Gravity pulls everything down. So you need to Yeah. So you need to walk with your spine relatively straight, chin up, looking like you're happy, right? Fake it till you make
Yeah.
it, right? Shoulders back.
Yeah.
And that's the proper posture. So squats can definitely help you maintain that posture, keep you out of
Right here.
arthritic conditions. Yeah.
I got
Nice
a
and
pretty good thing going here. It'll not only help your posture, it'll help your mental.
mind. That's right.
Because like you said, look at somebody. I always talk about it, and you hear at the end of it, say hi to somebody. If you don't know them, wave at them, whatever, catch their eye, create a vibe with them, right?
That's right. Exactly. What was your other question about the coaching, was it? Or
Yeah, no, your company.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was just kind of settling in here a little bit. I'm sorry. What I went blank. I'm not a professional, so sorry about that. But I'm not that sorry. The company that you have is called. I'm trying to look.
keepfitkingdom.com. Yeah.
Okay. keepfitkingdom.com. Is that a brick and mortar thing? Do you do everything through like we have now? And by the way, the COVID really screwed up with that whole thing, and it kind of was the last straw that now people have to rebuild, actually looking at people and catching them in the eyes. We were separated for so long. But anyway, what is the
model
makeup of your company?
Yeah.
Yep.
So basically, it's all now has moved to online now because the demands and the ability for us to reach more people is online. So email,
Absolutely.
courses. People can buy the course when they click the 3 products online. They can actually buy the tutorial, and they can get one of these posters, which helps people to remind you how to reduce stress and anxiety quickly and easily.
Is that a clock there that's running?
This, yes, exactly. So 1 minute, 18 breaths. 18 breaths in 1 minute gives you that result of flow state like you experienced.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't realize that. Go ahead, sorry.
So people can buy that initially, and when people say, okay, that's brilliant, it works, I know you can help me. Okay, then they'll ask us, can you help me with my relationship? Can you help me with my kids? Can you help me with my health? Can you help me with my professional situation? And we help them on a bespoke sort of tailor-made package. They can message us, we talk to them, we find out what they need, and we put a package together for them, and then we help them with a 4-week program, 8-week program,
coaching that package.
Yeah, correct.
Oh wow. And we didn't even talk about this, but I know you have more about the company, and I'm going to feed you a little something because of my smart aleck comment about you actually coach women, you personally, women or I guess the company does, right, too, for relationship. And that kind of scared me because women are a little different now. So how does that all work out? Anyway, the whole company thing, but don't talk about that just a touch.
Well, I mean, actually, coaching women, I've been doing that for 15 years, coaching women in relationship problems. And what I realized is that you can't separate one thing from the other, because every human being is, concerned with the 5 life areas. So whether you're a man or a woman, you've got health to concern about. You've got finances to concern about. You've got relationship or emotional health to concern about. You've got mental health to be concerned about. You've got spiritual health to be concerned about. So when people come to me just for relationship problems, you don't realize there's a lot of also other mental things going on in the background: bad habits, unawareness, patterns of why you're attracting the same guy who's beating you up all the time, or why you're not able to get the right guy, because you have unconscious mental patterns that keep bringing the same people to you again and again. You don't realize it until someone points it out to you. Right. But by the time you realize there's a pattern going on, it could be 10, 20, 30 years have gone past. And you're past the age of dating now. You don't want to date because you're like, oh, I just have a dog or a cat and I don't want to deal with people anymore, right? So you have to have someone to show you, to teach you what mental patterns you have going on, so that you can understand how to ask the right questions to men, so that you don't feel like you're being bullied or manipulated, so you can assert your values and assert what you want. because everybody deserves to have that.
Yeah, 100%. And so basically, at the end of the day, there's many things, and I believe this. If you want to go learn how to blow a rocket in the air, you go to science and those propulsion type engineering. You don't go to a McDonald's and say, hey, you go to a place that, and nothing against one-on-one people, and you do need people in your life, like my producer Barbie and all that.
Yeah.
This has been a fabulous show, and it's dynamic how much the stories are similar. Sometimes the direction and the paths are a little bit different, but your foundation, I'll call it, your company, and your book and this discussion needs to be a continuation. I mean, I respect you. You're doing a lot of podcasts, it looks like, and they're fun, aren't they? But there's a lot of effort in that, and what you're doing is beautiful. And I was just wondering, as we're wrapping up here, is there anything that we missed in some of the questions? Because there's a ton of them. I think we got basically everything. But is there anything that one comment that you wanted to focus on, or are you comfortable right now? Because part two's got to be coming sometime down the road here, right? But are you good with everything that we talked about? And is there any final?
Yeah, I would say absolutely. If we have a newsletter which has just been released. We have one of our big missions.
Monthly? Is that a monthly thing?
It's going to be weekly.
Oh wow! Okay, cool. That's
yeah. Oh. And one of our big missions, because this method that we've been talking about works so well with insomnia, there's 770 million people globally with insomnia. So we want to help wipe that from the planet. So the newsletter is covering a lot about new ways to deal with insomnia and release brain chemicals that you already have to help you sleep deeply and well.
Yeah.
Right? If we can work together.
You have those chemicals in there. Yeah.
Correct. And if we can work together and spread and raise awareness of this, then we can help more and more people, less reliance on the healthcare services, less reliance on prescription drugs, less reliance on trained doctors who don't know quite what to do. We have solutions that can help without side effects. You can stop
100%.
Teach it to your husband, your wife, your kids. That's what we can do.
This is part of the thing that I always refer to. And it's not the age of Aquarius kind of thinking, but I believe there is a utopia coming, because we talked about, society has always been ruled by kings, governments, and not for the best opportunity. They set up schools, they set up hospitals, they set up all these things to create that immediate need for us to rely on them. Now we're starting to get into some things, and the power that the great middle class is really coming into is dynamic. The last question, and then give us, I promise. See, we went over 2 hours. I knew I could do it. Remember I told you we're at like a minute and 47, and I think we're going to get to 2. This is a jog getting to 2 here, baby. This is really, really interesting stuff. Love it. But is the doctors that you, just to kind of add some additional girth to what you're talking about, you have doctors come over and visit you because of the results you're having, right? That's right. Tell me, you told me that story earlier, and my brain's full. I want a little bit more.
So there are doctors who realize that, they've been in practice for 25 years. They're kind of stuck in a loop where they can't go outside the box in many cases to try different things unless they go out on their own and become a homeopathy specialist or a more naturopathic approach. So they intersect with us, they talk to us, they find out that the yoga background, which has got over 20,000 years of recorded history in India, has all the answers for all human maladies. But now it's our turn to bring out these natural remedies that have come from Ayurveda, that have come from the ancient cosmological philosophies of decades or centuries, millennia ago, back to the present. Life goes in a cycle. These things existed thousands of years ago. It's just we're going back in the cycle. We're bringing the same old technology back to the modern day to help mankind benefit from this knowledge that already exists.
Well, it's about damn time that cycle came full circle, right? I love this. I love this discussion. Why don't you give everybody a big wave, and I'll talk nasty things about you when you're in the green room. Stick around. Put that information in the private chat, and I'll move it over also. Besides, tell everybody thank you, man. Good karma, good vibe, man. Say
awesome,
bye.
Man. All
right, brother. Bye. All right, yeah. So that was way more. I'm gonna say it again. Way more better. I am such a goofball sometimes, but I like saying those things when it's obvious. I'm because I think it makes you think about it a little bit more, to be honest with you. But Raj, you were awesome, man. That was a fantastic episode. That was a fantastic conversation. As you know, we typically go a little over an hour. Several times we've gone over an hour and a half. This was a very easy and it made sense. The dots are being connected in that conversation, so it flows. And there's so many more things we could talk about. The doctor. He's trying to get this into the schools. Right now in America, they're breaking down, and I assume this is, by extension, the world, a lot of things that happens here, because you work together and all that. But man, this is an opportunity with the new health, the Mr. Kennedy for the health, for the Food and Drug Administration, leading that with the objective to get rid of all the stuff. So, right, utopia is coming. Why do I think that? Okay, there's that going on, which is real. Now, assuming it's all trust but verify. I'm right now. I'm a independent, as you all know. I lean left on a couple of things. More social issues. Lean right, more conservative in like financial and responsibility stuff. But anyway, I believe that we have to really take this stuff. Well, it's not like we're not taking it making it important or a priority, but it's more that it's critical that we do more and more. Because why do I think there's a utopia? You've got information like this that's being now time after time after time proven and available. You've got at the same time, talking about food, you've got the administration focused on that. You talk about schooling, the administration is focused on that, much less the other things, CIA, the corruption, all that. And then Doge is coming in, promising to give us multiple trillions potentially of money that isn't being pulled off our backs to go into the pockets of everybody. So that's why I keep pushing this. And every day we talk about this thing, when it first brought it up, and it's not a new concept, but I said it out loud. And when that first came up, especially the people around me are like, okay, yeah, utopia. Oh, that sounds good. But more and more and more, you're starting to see things line up that, as I started to say before, our founding fathers, with the help of the great London, England area, and we can throw barbs back and forth. It's always fun. But with the founding fathers, and they were elitists, as we all know, and they were all the things that are ruling us now, and meaning they imposed divide and conquer, all sorts of things, shiny objects over here while they're taking everything over here. and, on and on and on. But our founding fathers gave us the ability, and we haven't used it near enough. Like he said, 10% of your brain is about as much as we use. Well, we also use our freedoms and our rights about the same. So it's our fault. The politicians on both sides are, in my opinion, corrupt and nasty and ugly and terrible people. But I mean, they come in for a purpose, and then the system sucks them in, and they end up going in and at worth $100,000. And there's all ranges of this, but you heard it going at $100,000 and 10 years in their chair, and they're now worth 29 million, or on and on. I mean, it gets worse than that. But so now there's going to be money. Then there's AI, just to kind of put a little icing on everything and pop it off. Because if we do now the things that, like Raj is saying, and like others, if we do the work now, we put that work in, and we are worthy of that utopia. And because we've through our rights and so forth, and our education and our rising expectations of ourselves, because of all that, we now have the opportunity, and this shouldn't be an opportunity missed. We have the opportunity to intelligently discuss between each other which person, not which party. I voted on a split ticket this time, but which person is best for doing our bidding. I said trust but verify earlier. I trust what the administration is doing. Reagan coined this term, but you got to continue to verify it. We have gone through a very corrupt political system, and if we're going to have a utopia, at the point where the economies come down, that all those trillions of dollars aren't going elsewhere. On top of AI is now bringing the cost downs of everything, because the efficiencies, robots and the like I said, the efficiencies, costs and services come down to basically next to nothing. At that point, what was the movie you talked about? But there's The Matrix. There's another one called Soylent Green, and there's a whole bunch of other ones. I don't know if you know the movie Soylent Green is probably 20 years ago.
Get going now. I do apologize.
Okay.
I have to get going. But I have to send you the details, and I'm going to have to get to my next session. But I'll email you, no problem at all, and we can continue for another part.
And I'll throw that in the comments then, and as people come back. But anyway, thank you very much once again. This is a longer wrap up than usual, because it's fascinating what we did, what you did on the stage. There's fascinating. Have a great day. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, you bet. All right. Bye. All right. So just to wrap it up, if we do not come together and become that powerful group, the great middle class, then when that utopia comes, if you know what the reference of Soylent Green is, it's how they made food in the future, and it's pretty shocking at the end. Or we could have the Jetsons, where middle-aged America, you can work if you want to, but you're not forced. Nobody's below the poverty line. Let's say to start in America, and then by extension, the world. With that, I'm going to wrap up. It's been a long day. I mean, this is 2 shows in one. This is awesome. You guys got your money's worth, right? That was a valuable time spent. I'm Rod Duff. You all know producer Barbie. You'll see her here in a second also. This is Insights in Straight Talk, and we are on YouTube at the @sign RODDDUFF 1939. And with that, I'm out.
Before you leave, if you'd like to watch another one of the podcasts, click the first link in the description. We love having you here, and we appreciate all your support.
And with that, producer Barbie and I are out.